Hey gang, I'm looking a bit disheveled here. Oh well, I'll just have to deal with it, I guess. Anyway, tonight we are looking at an interesting movie from 1983. Production was started in 81, didn't get released till 83. Produced by, of all people, Michael Franzese, a former capo of the Colombo family. Guess he'd gone straight by this time. Anyway, it stars B-movie queen Bobbie Breese, who had a short-lived time as a screen queen in the early 80s, up there with Jamie Lee Curtis and Frank Stevens and all those. Some of her other genre films include Ghoulies and Surf Nazis Must Die, as well as Evil Spawn. Of course, both Ghoulies and Evil Spawn are Fred Olen Ray films, and Surf Nazis Must Die is a trauma film, so you know what you expect there. Her co-star is Marjoe Gortner, who, wow, what a career. He started out as an evangelist. He is, on record, has the youngest ordained minister at the age of 4, where he would do faith healings and preach and all of that, usually having memorized the scripture. Into his mid to late teens, he became disillusioned with the industry and started to pull back. And on his final tour, he had a film company follow him around. The resulting documentary, Marjoe, detailed a lot of the tricks of the trade, as it were, with faith healing and other things. After that, he then went into acting, also music. He released an album called Bad But Not Evil, and his genre credits include Star Crash, the infamous Italian Star Wars ripoff. If you've ever seen that, wow. It's a good cast, though. You know, Christopher Plummer, David Hasselhoff, Gortner, Caroline Munro. He also did the very loose adaptation of H.G. Wells' Food of the Gods, and a thriller called Hellhole, about experiments done in an asylum. We open our film, Mausoleum, in a cemetery where a young girl who's lost her parents is mourning at the grave with her aunt, who she's now going to live with, but she doesn't really handle the loss well and runs off, ending up in a mausoleum, hence the title, where a mysterious cloaked man, and I'm not sure if he's a vagrant or a caretaker, come upon her. Not quite sure what the guy in the cloak did to the other guy, but it had a really weird effect as he stumbled out of the crypt. Well, they're really starting this movie off with a bang. Oh, God, knew I should. Sorry, I tried to fight it. And the girl has kind of a weird experience in there too. What the heck is that? We'll probably learn later. Anyways, we jump about 20 years ahead. The girl, named Susan, is now an adult, and her Aunt Cora is discussing with Susan's psychiatrist, who had been treating her ever since she had a nervous breakdown in the mausoleum. And we see Susan. This is the anniversary. Gotta watch my gestures. It's her anniversary of her mother's death, and she goes to lay flowers on the grave, and once again is drawn to the mausoleum. She wakes up at her home. Just a bad dream. Her husband Oliver has arrived back home and is comforting her because he seems a little overwrought. And the groundskeeper is being a little pervy. Moving on. Susan and Oliver go out, have dinner, and do some dancing. And wouldn't you know it, as soon as he gets called away to the phone, he's a big real estate guy, makes a lot of deals. Another guy, pretty drunk, makes some moves on her. I don't know. Maybe she just doesn't like guys grabbing her, demanding stuff. You know, with that kind of attitude, I can't imagine why he got turned down. Although, his rather surly ways come back to bite him when he leaves, as his car just spontaneously goes up. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Green eyes. Too bad she doesn't hulk out. That was always my favorite part of getting green eyes. You know, the old Bill Bixby thing. Anyway, moving on. The next day, the gardener, it's a little more pervy, and to placate him, she gives him a cup of coffee and shoos him out. And then her inner whatever takes over and has some fun with him. Well, fun for her, I assume.
You want some more coffee, Ben? Well, then I suggest you get back to your work.
Yeah, she flashed him. I know. Creepy. Anyway, after he's finished his work, she takes him out to the tool shed where they get it on, as it were. And then afterwards, well, his desire for a second go round doesn't quite go the way he hoped.
You heard the
I don't know what. Anyway, when Oliver comes home, she's all dressed sexy. And we get another lovemaking scene. Only this one, well, it is husband and wife, so I guess that's okay. And then, the next day when her Aunt Cora shows up with some estate papers she wanted, things get... Ugh. Gnarly. Ripped her chest right open. And she's a relative. Now, apparently she cleaned everything up because when Oliver gets home, nothing. It's all good. And again, the romantic evening. Killing really seems to rev up her libido, apparently. Anyway, that night, Oliver wakes up and gets a bit of a fright from his wife. Convinced that was not his wife. Sounds crazy, I know. But he goes downstairs, calls Dr. Andrews, tells him this, and Andrews is like, well, let's not get crazy here. Have her come and see me, and I'll talk it over with her. Because it's like 3 in the morning. So, he goes back to bed, she goes to bed, and then we get the wonderful LaWanda Page, aka Aunt Esther from Sanford and Son. I don't know what she saw. We'll probably see it later. But she, and she alone, does the only logical thing that anyone in this film ever does. Okay. When Oliver gets home, he and Susan have a bit of an argument, but she agrees to go see Dr. Andrews because, after all, she's having nightmares again. And he decides to try hypnotherapy, and after regressing her to her mother's funeral, he gets an unexpected response. Somebody just always needs love and to whack things with his tail, right? Dr. Andrews, luckily, is able to bring Susan out of her hypnotic trance, and she leaves. And having recorded the session, he calls a colleague, Dr. Logan. She is an expert on possessions. Meanwhile, back at the house, Susan has set her eyes on a delivery boy. Ugh. Guess he was a little too rough for her tastes. Never pays to be forward, guys. Just saying. Well, Oliver gets home, and this time things aren't as nice as they seemed. The last two times she killed someone.
Susan? Did you hurt yourself? Honey, come down here. Susan, are you alright?
How did she miss that? Oh, that room she's in, that's her old childhood playroom. Apparently, the demon likes to go in there. Oh, geez, I just revealed what it is that's inside her. Although I think you already knew. Anyways, she doesn't want to talk about it to Oliver. She's tired. Oh, I threw Taz a paper ball because he was getting a little too into attacking me. Anyway, the next day, Dr. Andrews and Dr. I forgot her name already. Logan meet up. He plays her the tape and then tells her the history of the Nomad family from the diary Cora gave him, and that's Susan's maiden name. Now, if that sounds like an interesting name, think Count Alucard from some of the Dracula movies, and I think you'll figure out what that means. If not, use a mirror. Anyway, according to the diary of Susan's ancestor that the Dr. Andrews read, apparently back in the 1600s, the family was cursed, and every firstborn female gets possessed by a demon if they go into that mausoleum. It's the family mausoleum. And the only way to exorcise the demon is to take a thorny crown that I think Susan removed from the crypt earlier. Or wouldn't it be a sarcophagus? I will say crypt. And that allowed the demon to possess her. So it has to be replaced on the demon's head. And then once it returns to the crypt, it has to be closed in. Okay. Yeah. Andrews is the one who has to go and get that so he can do this. Simon shows up wanting to know what the heck's wrong with his wife. And he has a not unreasonable reaction to what they tell him.
Oh, she's demon possessed. I see. That's correct. His possession of the firstborn of the Nomad women.
Can't blame him. Skeptical. Anyway, Susan is at the mall and gets into a haggling session with a gallery owner.
I have another one, similar in feeling. But this one has been sold. I want this. I'm sorry. I told you. It's been sold.
I don't care.
Seeing as he won't sell, she swipes it. Well, gallery owner then makes the unfortunate decision to chase after her. He gets impaled. Although, as nasty as that scene is, it does have an artistic ending. Nicely played, movie. Or should I say John Buchler? John Buchler. He was the director. Also did special effects. That was his forte. Anyway. Uh-oh. The wild animal attacks have returned. No, stop. Nope. Oliver returns home and he takes a look at the painting she apparently bought and has, again, a not unreasonable response. Lock him out. Anyway, the painting gets them into another fight. While that's happening, Dr. Andrews goes to the crypt, and for some reason we don't see him retrieve the crown he was in. And then next we see he's driving to Oliver and Susan's house, and he has the crown. Unfortunately for Oliver, he went to Susan while she was in the bath and apologized to her, and it looks like they're going to make up. But killed by her breasts. You know, much like last year's Night of the Demons, I think this one takes the cake for weird, disturbing female breasts thingy. Well, anyway, Dr. Andrews arrives and finds Susan in the playroom. He also finds something else there, too. I agree, Dr. Andrews. That's where all her victims were stored. You'd think Oliver would have noticed the smell after a couple of days, but apparently that has got a good sealant in that room. Well, are we ready for the major battle? As Dr. Andrews must fight the demon to put the crown on it. Oh. Well. That's rather easy. Although we do get a pretty good special effects moment there. Well, eventually, the demon leaves Susan and returns to the mausoleum. And Susan, asking where Oliver is hustled into the car and taken to the mausoleum because she has to complete the ritual to seal the demon back into the crypt. Kind of like that, how they kept switching back and forth between the young Susan and the adult Susan. Another artistic moment here. Anyway, Susan's still wanting to know what happened to Oliver. She has no memory of anything she's done while possessed. Andrews bundles her out to the car and then notices the cloaked figure and goes to talk to him. Oh, okay, that explains part of the beginning. Although he let Susan in, but killed the guy. Oh well. Say, who is the guy in the robe, anyways? Wait, Ben the gardener, the one she killed? But that doesn't make sense. I feel like the movie was laughing at me. For a twist ending, it's not bad. Okay, I kind of like this movie. Yeah, it's a fun little twist on like The Omen. You know, where using their supernatural powers, they kill people in these weird ways. Although most of hers are just lifting someone up and, you know. But not a bad cast. Bobbie Breese does pretty good. She seems to be having a lot of fun playing the demon possessed, and she bounces around between being confused and scared and absolutely evil, and pretty seductive when she wants to be. Marjoe Gortner, he's not given much to do. He's just sort of the sympathetic husband who wants to support her and is just out of his depth here, and he doesn't know what's going on. And although pretty unique death scene, gotta admit that is pretty crazy. But the real star was LaWanda Page as their housekeeper. I know she's only in a couple of scenes, but she steals the whole movie. She is hilarious. In her big major scene, she goes upstairs to see if, you know, Susan is okay, and sees all that green smoke coming up out of the room, and goes back down, sees Oliver's left, goes into the bar area, knocks back a couple. Then she goes, okay, now I can deal with her. And then, of course, seeing what's in the room, runs out. Oh, that was the highlight of the film for me. Yeah, good special effects. John Butcher was a great effects artist and a pretty good director, too. Oh, sure, he never made any major films, but I don't think. Let me look that up. Let's see here. Let's see. What did... Oh, he wasn't the director. Michael Dugan. Well, still, Butcher did do the special effects, which were great. And no, must be under makeup. John Carl Buchler. Oh yeah, he did special effects for a lot of movies. But his directing was dang, I keep hitting the wrong things. Oh, he directed Dungeon Master, Troll. You remember Troll? Friday the 13th, The New Blood. Oh, that's right. That's the one with Kane Hodder in his first role of Jason. And one of my personal favorites. I love the whole telekinetic teenage girl who fights Jason. Sort of a Carrie meets Jason kind of film. Pretty fun. Oh, episodes of Land of the Lost. Well, good for him. But yeah, apparently he only did the special effects on this, and they are great. Awesome special effects. None better. Well, that's really all there is to say about this. It's a gory, campy horror flick that deserves its cult status and is probably one of Bobbie Breese's best performances. Although, no, Evil Spawn was probably better. That was a reworking of Wasp Woman, in which she played a actress who was older, and they were wanting to go with younger actresses, and she got this experimental serum that was making her look younger, but its side effect is she keeps mutating into a monster and killing people. You know, that old chestnut. But please hit like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Oh, and stay after the credits for my favorite scene.